Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Speaker Now podcast. And I'm your host, Darius Silver, aka Mr. GQ. Back from the conversation, back from the hot topic, back from the discussion. So I want to make you, the viewer, better, stronger, and sharper. Most importantly, to make you speak up. So, if you're a returning viewer, know it is much love. And if you're a new viewer, thank you for tuning in. Much appreciation to you. So let's get right back into it. Let's ride. Part 2. You're watching the Speak On Our podcast right now. So let me ask you this. What are you doing if you ever hit the subscribe button right now? What are you doing if you ever hit the share or like button right now? And what are you doing if you haven't commented something right now or shared your opinion or spoke up on something? So do me a favor. Before continue. Subscribe, like, leave a comment, and most importantly, speak up. 2 of my Jackson series, as I promised you guys. If you haven't seen part 1, please go see. Please go click off this episode and go watch that episode if you can. Come back to this episode. Much appreciation to you. As I promised you guys, I gave you a sneak peek into what part 2 is going to be about the Jacksons. Some of you guys might know, and some of you guys might not know. The new movie that's coming out called Michael. I debated that on part 1 if I'm looking forward to the Michael movie compared to the movie that I've seen 1,000 times, The Jackson's American Dream. And this particular movie, Michael. That's what this particular episode is going to be about. I can't believe that Janet Jackson will not be depicted in this particular film. It's called Michael. Janet Jackson, she's a Jackson. She's a part of the Jackson family. And I know this movie is about Michael and himself and about him as a whole, Michael only, but to not depict Janet Jackson at all, to not show her contributions to not just the family but to Michael, it's kind of sad and disappointing. And like I said in my previous part 1, I'm never going to disrespect the Jacksons. I'm never going to disrespect the family, and never going to disrespect Michael. But to not depict Janet Jackson to the film is kind of mind-boggling to me, honestly. Like, anybody that knows me, that I'm a Jackson fanatic. I love the Jacksons. And that's something that I feel like, God rest his soul, Michael Jackson and Joseph Jackson, I feel like there's no way, if they were still here on this earth alive, that they would allow a film that's about the Jacksons, about Michael, and not depict their sister, Janet Jackson. Let's all be honest here. Like I said, not disrespect anybody. Michael Jackson's the biggest star in the world. Michael Jackson's the biggest star that's ever lived. Michael Jackson is the biggest star that anybody's ever known to man. Let's get that out the way right now. But the second biggest Jackson ever, or the second biggest, one of the next biggest superstars, Janet Jackson. Let's be very, very clear here. Let's be very clear. Michael Jackson's on a different tier, on a different world. We all know that. We all know that. But the next one after Michael and the family was Janet. You mean to tell me that to say that Janet Jackson did not contribute to Michael Jackson's life, or his meaning of life? That's hard to depict and hard to say. And Janet Jackson is not going to complain or make a big fuss about it. That's who she's quiet, just like Michael is. She's very, very quiet, just like Michael is. She's not going to start this big drama, start this big issue that I should have did this, I should have said this, I should have had this part. She'll blah blah blah. She's not going to say that because she's not going to disrespect her brother. She's not going to disrespect. She's not going to disrespect her family. And that's one thing she's not going to do. So I know for a fact she's not going to do that. But the people, if she's not going to speak for herself, someone should speak up for her. And like I said, I don't know if she decided. I don't know if she was offered a part into the movie or having a character into the movie, or I don't know if she declined. I don't know for sure. So I can't say. I don't have all the information, all the perspective about it. Like all I know is she's not being depicted inside the movie. That's the only information that I know. And like I said, she might have declined a character in the movie. She might have just said, "No, I don't want my character in the movie." She could have said all these things. Who knows? But I'm just speaking from one perspective and one side. From that one side, I want Janet Jackson. I would want Janet Jackson inside the movie. Why? Michael's brothers are in the movie. Jackie, Tito, Randy, Marlon, Jermaine, and more than likely, who knows, Rebe and LaToya might be inside the movie. Just might. I don't know for sure, but they just might. If they depict every single one of his siblings inside the movie, the Jacksons, and not depict Janet, that's mind-boggling to me. That's just disappointing and sad. So when I talk about why I'm not really. Let's see. I'm trying to think of the best way to say this without so I won't be disrespectful. The reason why I'm always be a fan of the Jackson's American Dream, because again, it's about family and family only, not just about one particular individual inside the family. Because I always say the Jacksons are more than just a group. The Jacksons are a family. They're a big family that made a huge impact on African Americans, the culture, our lives, not just even that, a big part of the world. So when I see a movie that's only about one individual, yes, Michael was the biggest star known to man. Yes, we know how big Michael was. I understand. But I would feel that if Michael was still here, God rest his soul, he would want to be the movie focused on not just by himself, but the stardom of the entire family and their tribulations and triumphs and how they got to where they were with Jackie's success, Jermaine's success, Janet's success, rebuilding success to a certain extent. He would want that more, in my opinion, than just a movie all about him. Because again, yes, Michael would want to prove what he can do on his own with his music and his life. But Michael wasn't the only one who went solo at that particular time after their last tour. Again, yes, we all know Michael went solo. Jackie went solo. Jermaine went solo. Marlon went solo. Janet was already solo at the particular time, so doing what she wanted to do. LaToya and Rebe had their own albums and what they wanted to do. The whole entire family went solo. There was no the Jacksons, but the entire family went solo. So it wasn't just about Michael and Michael this and Michael only. It wasn't about that. So like I said, this episode is about why Janet's not depicted in the movie. It's crazy because Janet is one of the, in my opinion, my hot take on this particular thing. Yes, Michael is a big star of the man. I think Janet Jackson is maybe a top 7, top 8, no more than top 10 entertainer of all time of entertaining. When I say entertaining, putting on the show, when I'm talking about concert, not just singing and singing your heart out, but knowing how to dance, put on the show, and entertain live, which she was able to do back in her time in the late 80s, 90s, and Janet Jackson's an entertainer, just like her brother was. Yes, Michael's in a different stratosphere. Nobody can compete with Michael. When I'm talking about entertainment, I'm talking about Michael, Chris Brown, Bobby, these are big time entertainers. I'm about dancing wise, Prince. So I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. Jen is on that type of realm. That's my take. Jen is the biggest, one of the top 7, top 8, no more than top 10 entertainers of all time. You can't name me 9 or 10 better entertainers more than Jen Jackson besides Michael, you can't name me that. So I'm not here not to disrespect anybody. I love the Jacksons, but to not have Janet Jackson inside the movie Michael, I need more clarification on that. I need more information on that because that's just, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. And I would love to hear her side of the story and why she thinks she wasn't included, or why she's like, hey, I decided not to be depicted inside the movie. If she did that, I would have no problem. But when the information came out that she's not depicted inside the movie, it's taken away from what the movie should be about, whatsoever. Again, Michael's not here to bring more perspective to his particular character. It's being played by his own nephew and family member, so nobody isn't mind about that because that's his nephew, that's his own blood. Compared to the Jackson American Dream being played to someone being played by Michael outside the family. So I understand for that particular point. And I can't be too hard because I haven't seen the movie Michael. Nobody's seen the movie Michael as of yet. So I can't be one-sided. I have to be open-minded, but I want to come on my podcast and just speak my piece about like Janet. You know, I'm glad that one thing I am glad though about this movie Michael is bringing more recognition and more awareness. So I'm just very grateful that Michael is being back into the spotlight, and as he should be, and the family's being back into the spotlight. So I'm grateful I'm grateful of that, but I'm just surprised and shocked that I heard that Janet Jackson was not going to have her own character or have a part in more the story of Michael. I know that's her big brother. She's his little sister, and I know both of them had a part in each other's lives. She was the baby of the family. She was the baby of the family, and the second big star of the family. He was the biggest star. So that's surprising to me. But the Jacksons, and the Jacksons. So I know I've had some plenty hot takes before about the family, not about in general. But there's one thing about the Jacksons. I would never say anything to disrespect them or disrespect Michael or disrespect anybody from the family. I'm known for hot takes on my podcast, known for such and such, but that's one thing I would not do is disrespect that particular family, disrespect Michael, or disrespect Janet. That's something I would never do. So that's what this is part 2 of my Jackson series. This was my last episode about on this particular series. When I see the movie, I will come back to you guys and let you guys know how I feel about the movie. If I was surprised, shocked, if I liked the movie, or that this movie surprised me how good it was. I'll come back to you guys whenever I do see a particular movie. But yeah, that's the end of my part. That's the end of my part 2 of the Jacksons for now. So hopefully you guys enjoyed my rant or my opinions, especially if you guys didn't know. I'm glad you got to see a personal side of me about how I love the Jacksons a lot with my passions, as you guys see. Been to a Janet Jackson concert, got the Jacksons behind me. You know, I wish I was able to be alive. I was able to go to a Michael Jackson concert. That's one of my bucket lists in my lifetime. I wish I wasn't of age to do so. But yeah, I'm glad you guys were able to learn something about me and how passionate I am about the Jacksons. Because I'm gonna let y'all, one thing that you guys will remember that I said, even though this quote is very, very popular. Catherine Jackson said this, and that's something that always stuck with me when she said it about her family. The Jacksons are more than just a musical group. The Jacksons are family. They are family first before anything. So that's pretty much my part 2 of my series. Hope you guys enjoyed. Come back for the next episode of Speaking Up Podcast soon. And let's go and end this thing out the right way. Like, subscribe, comment your reaction about this particular issue. So this particular situation about Janet not being depicted in the movie Michael. Subscribe, everything you can think of, share, and Much love and appreciation for a new viewer, returning viewer, and let's go this thing out the right way. Stay mellow, keep them in mind, stay focused. As my man Cam Newton says, you got one finger, one pinky, one thumb, one love. Boom.